I was in 4th period art class and had heard a buzz around that an acquaintance of mine was selling blotter acid. It was my 3rd day out of Charter Glade. My mum found my journal and read that I was not eating lunch, had a crush on my best girlfriend, and once smoked a joint with friends. This translated to anorexic lesbian pothead to her, I guess, and I was 15. I was convinced that this tiny piece of paper could not possibly have any effects on a human. I dropped at around 1 p.m. in art. I only noticed a kind of sour bitter taste and still didn't expect anything. Well, it kicked in a half an hour later in French class as my teacher was asking me what time it was. I had to answer back in French, but I didn't even hear the question. Nor could I comprehend it. I just kept thinking, who told her to say that? I was wondering how she managed to choose that arrangement of words. It sounded like the native language of Charlie Brown's teacher. I kept checking the selling to see if aliens were warping these funny words to her brain and making her say them. I had to share a book with my friend Bob Bazin *. He would move the book or turn the page and I said a bit loud, "Don't do that." Then I started analyzing his name. Bob Bazin. Bob Bazing. Bob Bazam. Bob had dosed a skillion times before, so he found this rather humorous. As class was dismissed, I tried to avoid eye contact with all the other kids. I remember looking at my friends and thinking they were each individually wrapped pieces of fruit. In history class, my teacher was telling us about the housewives of the Renaissance era. I was getting really pissed about his one-sittedness and I called him a chauvinist rather loud and rather repeatedly. He looked concerned. I was worried that he knew I was sitting in his class tripping my face off, so I asked him when he was born. A total change of subject. I wanted to find out so I could calculate the dates and see if he was young enough to have taken LSD in the 60s. The numbers just kept falling off the page and I soon gave up. He made me sit downstairs with my friend Erica in an empty classroom until the bell rang. Erica, who, 2 hours before, didn't believe for a second that I had taken anything that day except some Prozac. I listened to the planes go by outside school and sat at a desk pretending I was flying. LSD is great for vertigo. I wondered how I was going to deal with the school bus ride home. Erica drew a map, but that proved useless. She agreed to drive me herself. My history teacher dismissed me from class and said to my study hall teacher, "Watch this one, I think she's acting funny." Welcome to conspiracy mode. I was so glad when school ended, but then I had to go home. Erica dropped me off and my parents were going to be home in a few hours. I figured I might as well actually get some enjoyment out of this whole ordeal. So I went outside with my headphones and laid in the grass. I believe it was either Pink Floyd or The Doors. It was such a beautiful day and I was still in my uniform. The breeze was blowing my skirt and trees a little and I felt like a soft angel was above us, inhaling and exhaling. I thought a bath might be a good idea because when the tape ended I was feeling a little edgy. This was a mistake. When I was in the tub, I looked over at the wallpaper and saw these terrifying skulls and thought my mum had put up this demonic wallpaper in my bathroom to scare the hell out of me if I ever tripped. I wrapped myself in a towel and sat at the edge of my bed, staring at the carpet. Another mistake. I got totally lost in the carpet and had to call my friend Nick to help me out. When my parents came home, they look in my room and see me teetering on the edge of the bed, rocking back and forth still in the towel with my hair over my shoulders dripping wet, and staring at the carpet. My mum flipped, I know she's on something. And my dad trying to tell her that I was just having a hard time adjusting back to school. Honey, please leave her alone. To this day I don't know if my dad knew that I was messed up and he was covering for me or that he had no clue. I will be eternally grateful either way. So if you are 15 and wondering if that tiny little bit of paper can actually change your perception, believe me, it does. Pick something nice to do like a laser light show. Or do something silly like playing with food. Just don't do it in school. Don't do it in the tub. And don't let your parents find you looking like Sylvia Plath at the foot of her pink bed. P.S. And remember, knives are sharp, guns are real, and Taco Bell and acid do not mix.